Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gids and I am back to do a review of a very popular and very hyped up fragrance. It's Oud for Greatness, which I have seen so much hype on YouTube, and I was like, okay, I have to get my hands on a sample of this fragrance. So I did. It is here, and I'm going to be talking about this fragrance and giving you my thoughts. So first of all, Oud for Greatness is from the house of Initio. I believe it was launched in 2018 and it is classified as an Oud fragrance. Now, when I first sprayed, I did actually do a whole first impressions of this fragrance, recorded a video, but I just wasn't happy with the quality, so I scrapped it. So this is actually a full review of the fragrance. Now, the first thing I get from this fragrance when I first sprayed it is a very rich blast of oud. What kind of oud is it? So oud can go in many different directions. It can go in quite a barnyard oud direction. It can go in more of an animalic fecal direction. But this oud for me is very woody, very dry. And I think that's because of the way it's been blended. There's so many amazing fragrances with rose and oud, but I got a bit bored of that combo. And what I really thought was amazing about this fragrance and quite interesting was the way that the oud is blended. So let me give you the full breakdown of notes. I have it here on my iPad. So the notes of this fragrance, you've got at the top, we have some lavender, saffron and nutmeg. In the middle, you have oud wood and agarwood oil. And in the base, you have patchouli and musk. And I love that. I love how when you first spray and it opens, you get this very dry, oud wood type of scent. Now when I first smelled it, I was like, what does this remind me of? Now I know a lot of people say this fragrance reminds me of Baccarat Rouge 540. I don't really get that. I got more of dry, slightly barbershoppy, slightly earthy type of scent. Now there is musk and patchouli in the base, and I think that kind of gives it a slight earthiness and a slight dryness, even a bit of smokiness. And I think the lavender and the nutmeg kind of sweeten it just to the right amount. So what I love about this is it's very smooth, it's very elegant, and it works really well. Like there aren't any notes which are kind of hitting you or being offensive. And I was kind of on the fence. I was like, oh, is this going to be another one of those hyped up fragrances that I'm not really going to enjoy? But to be completely honest, I think this is full bottle worthy. It's really nice. So it is a very rich fragrance. When I sprayed it, one thing I was so impressed with was how long it lasted. So if you like kind of very long lasting, powerful fragrances, I think this is one which you should check out. Obviously, if you like oud. And if you like more kind of smooth, more palatable ouds, which I guess are kind of more suited to Western tastes. Now this oud reminds me of, you know, when my dad used to work a lot in the Middle East. So he used to work in Jordan and he used to work all around the Middle East. And I remember when I'd go and, you know, visit him in the UAE, when he would sometimes be traveling through there, or Jordan. I remember this very kind of rich, slightly dry, smoky oud that a lot of the Middle Eastern Arabs would wear, especially in the Gulf kind of countries like Jordan, Qatar, Saudi. You smell a lot of this on the Arabs there. It is definitely, in my opinion, a unisex fragrance. I think, as all fragrances are, you guys know that's my kind of motto, but I definitely think this is unisex. I think there is a little bit of sweetness that comes through more in the dry down, which maybe is why people compare it to Baccarat Rouge 540. Me personally, I don't really see much of a comparison. I've heard some people say that this layers really nicely with the extrait of Baccarat Rouge 540. Personally, I think that's a very expensive layering combination. I would just wear this alone. And also, it's a very potent fragrance. I don't feel like it even needs to be layered. I think the beauty is this is going to settle down really nicely, as it did with me. So as I said, it opened very woody. It was a very smoky, rich type of oud. Very smooth, and then as it dried down, all that kind of the warm saffron, lavender, and the patchouli and musk kind of all shine and almost like dance around those lovely oud notes in the middle. Where could you wear this fragrance? Well, I definitely think this is a fragrance to wear more special occasions would definitely work, but I think you could possibly wear this to work. Depends on your type of work environment. People definitely will smell you, people ask you what you're wearing, and I think this will definitely net you a lot of compliments from people around you because it is very pleasant. And one thing I love is as it dries down, how it all just kind of warms up. The lovely, I think it's the lavender I can smell, and the nutmeg. And of course there's saffron, which is a very beautiful spice. Saffron is a very expensive spice, and I think that really adds to this fragrance. I would highly recommend it. It's now on my wish list. I have quite a few fragrances on my wish list, which is quite worrying. It's not the cheapest fragrance, guys, but I do think the quality is amazing. So this is 90, I think this is 90 mil, and I know it's 90 mil. I was thinking, why don't they just make it 100 mil? But anyway, so for 90 mil, it retails for around, I think between £200 to 230, £240. That's kind of the scale I saw. But it is actually sold out on the Selfridges website currently, so there is no price listed. But yeah, is it great? How great is this fragrance? I would say, yeah, I do think it's a great oud fragrance. Not one to blind buy, not just because it's expensive, but also because I think oud fragrances can be an acquired taste. But I do think it's a definite winner. I really do, and I think they've created something really special with this one. I definitely think this fragrance is probably more of a fall winter fragrance, just because it's got a lot of heavy notes. It is very rich, it is very opulent, and I think this might choke people out, or choke yourself out if it's really warm. Also, you don't need a lot of sprays of this fragrance. So one spray of this lasted on me about 8 hours, and I was very impressed. I mean, I sprayed this card 2 days ago, and I can still smell it quite strongly on the card. So it kind of gives you an idea of the fragrance. But as with all fragrances, you have to test them out on your skin. What might work and be a very long-lasting fragrance for someone might not work for someone else. So that's why I do try to buy samples, especially when it comes to more expensive fragrances, because you just don't know how they're going to work for you. So yeah, that was my review of Oud for Greatness. Highly recommend this. I think it's a great release from Initio. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next fragrance video. Take care.